Imagine a world where the taps run dry, rivers become dust, and the simple luxury of a glass of water becomes a distant memory. Welcome to Prepper's Edge, where today we're diving deep into the ancient secrets and modern techniques of surviving without a steady water supply. You might think it's the end of the line, but for those prepared, it's just another challenge to overcome. From the depths of history to the latest in off-grid innovation, we'll uncover how civilizations thrived without modern plumbing and how you can too. Stay with us as we reveal the secrets to ensuring you and your family remain hydrated even when the well is dry. Because here at Prepper's Edge, we know that being prepared isn't just a hobby, it's a lifestyle. So grab your notepads and let's embark on a journey of survival, resilience and ingenuity. Because when the water stops, the knowledge flows. Would you panic or draw on the ingenuity of our ancestors who survived for millennia off-grid? This deep dive journey will immerse you in humanity's evolving quest for water, from prehistoric survival hacks to future tech marvels. Along the way, you'll discover that resourcefulness, community, and respect for each precious drop have always been our lifeline. By the end, you might feel the echoes of ancient water wisdom in your modern prepping soul, inspired to value water like the life or death treasure it is. It's not just water, it's your edge. No filters, no tech, no second chances. Just bare hands, instinct, and the will to find water like the ancients did, or die trying. A prehistoric hunter-gatherer wakes at dawn, parched after a long trek. In the cool morning light, they kneel to sweep a handful of broad leaves across the grass, soaking up glistening dew. Carefully they wring the leaves into their mouth, a few sweet drops of life. This simple scene is no fantasy. Collecting early morning dew is a time-tested survival trick. Modern bushcraft experts note that cloth can be used to gather dew from vegetation and then wrung out as drinking water. In a world before wells or bottles, dawn's dew was a gift from the gods. As the sun climbs higher, our early human scans the landscape for signs of water. They've learned to listen to the land-lush green patches in a dry valley hint at groundwater below. Insects buzzing and birds chirping at first light often signal a hidden watering hole. Following animal tracks is another reliable guide. Paths converging downhill may lead to a vital seep or pond. Prehistoric people became keen observers of nature's clues, knowing that every creature from bees to elephants can inadvertently guide us to water. When a stagnant pool is found, dark and muddy, how to drink safely. Our ancestors improvised purification with nothing but fire, stone, and ingenuity. Picture a nomadic family encamped by a small stream. They lack metal pots, so instead they hollow a wooden bowl by fire. To sterilize water, they heat fist-sized rocks in the coals and plop them into the bowl, bringing the water to a rolling boil with hot stones. This ancient method, known as rock boiling, was used by indigenous cultures worldwide to kill pathogens in water. The steam rises with a hiss. Children watch wide-eyed as lethal microbes are vanquished by simple physics and human cleverness. Rock boiling is effective if done carefully. Archaeologists even recreate it today, confirming that a red-hot stone can indeed boil water in a wooden container. Our prehistoric forebears likely didn't know why boiled water made them feel better, but through trial and error they learned it could mean the difference between life and death. Primitive containers were lifesavers. Early humans used hollowed gourds, clay, bamboo, and ostrich eggs. Sand bushmen stored water in hollowed ostrich eggs. These eggs were marked, capped, and hidden. Finding one was a lifesaver on a hunt. Hunters shared locations of buried eggs. This ensured survival and community. Elsewhere, animal bladders, seashells, and wooden bowls were used. These containers were essential for survival. Humanity's relationship with water transformed as we built civilizations. Where nomads followed the rains, settlers harnessed water to make the deserts bloom and cities rise. In ancient Persia, around 1000 BCE, engineers dug the qanat, an underground aqueduct. Vertical shafts dotted the landscape, connected by a sloping tunnel with cool water. Clear water flowed into a canal, a man-made spring. The qanat system, invented by Persian hydrologists, tapped underground aquifers and channeled water to fields and towns. Some qanats ran for dozens of kilometers and still function centuries later. Across the Mediterranean, the Romans showcased their water genius. Roman aqueducts made it possible to turn a spout and have water flow. These towering arches delivered millions of gallons daily. Over 11 aqueduct lines brought water to Rome, enough for public baths, gardens, and drinking water. The engineering maintained a gentle gradient over miles. Picture standing beneath the Pont du Gard in southern Gaul. The aqueduct of Segovia and Aqua Virgin still stand today. Not all ancient water feats were grand. Some were deeply intimate and local. In India, communities crafted stepwells, water sources, temples, and refuges. Descend into the earth on an ornate staircase into cool darkness. Step by step, the air cools. Carved pillars and shrines line the walls. At the bottom, shimmering water, Chandbauri in Rajasthan, extends 100 feet underground. These structures, dating from the 3rd century CE, accessed groundwater year-round. They were communal spots where travellers rested and women prayed. Stepwells provided water and cool sanctuaries during India's summers. Ancient peoples developed ways to purify water, improving taste and clarity, inadvertently saving lives. In Egypt, alum clarified muddy water. Greeks used the Hippocratic sleeve to filter boiled rainwater. Sanskrit texts describe boiling, charcoal filtration, and using plant seeds for purification. They also advised exposing water to sunlight in copper vessels, an early form of solar disinfection. These ancient methods parallel modern techniques like boiling, filtration, and UV purification. Leave the paved roads and aqueducts behind. Step into the world's wild places where indigenous communities learned to coax water from an unforgiving landscape. These are stories of patience, observation, and respect for nature. If you're still watching, good. That means you get it. You know this isn't just some hobby. This is survival, real prepping. And when it comes to water, the moment you let your guard down is the moment you lose everything. You can have food, shelter, gear, but without water, you've got days, maybe less. And when your filters break, your barrels run dry, and your taps go silent, you'll wish you paid attention to the skills that never go out of date. Ancient ones, primitive ones, the kind that kept humans alive when there was no backup plan. So stay with me, because the second half of this video isn't just tips. It's your training ground, and when the time comes, you won't freeze, panic, or pray for a miracle. You'll move, you'll act, you'll survive. In the Australian outback, an Aboriginal elder squats beside a dry creek bed. The red earth is cracked and dusty, no obvious water for miles, but the elder knows this place. He begins to dig a soakage pit in the sandy soil. After some labour, water starts seeping into the hole. He cups his hands and drinks. For countless generations, Aboriginal Australians survived drought by finding soaks. They would scoop out pits or wells, sometimes lined with grass to filter sediment. These hidden wells were often kept secret and carefully maintained. Indigenous Australians also became masters of reading the landscape for water. Bees or birds darting into cracks hinted at a rock hole full of rainwater. They even crafted clever condensation traps or mopping dewy grass with tufts of kangaroo fur at dawn. In the Kalahari Desert, a sandwoman checks a baobab tree, the tree of life. Baobabs store thousands of litres of water in their hollow trunks. She climbs and peers into a natural cistern within the tree. Sure enough, there's water glistening. She lowers a gourd and draws up a drink. High in the Andes, indigenous communities had other tricks. The Inca harvested fog and dew from clouds sweeping their mountains. Stones or walls condensed fog into droplets, collected in basins. Today, NGOs use fine mesh nets to capture fog, channeling water to villages. Even the Namib desert beetle collects dew on its shell. From Oceania to the Arctic, examples abound. The Aboriginal peoples of Australia sometimes used hair or cloth to absorb dew or sopped up water from tree hollows using fibre and then squeezed it out, a method not unlike using a sponge. Native Americans in the Sonoran and Mojave deserts lined pit wells with clay to seal in seeping groundwater. In the Pacific Islands, people with no fresh water sources learned to collect rain off their thatched roofs, into coconut shells and giant clams, or even from the broad leaves of taro plants. Arctic Inuit melting snow in sealskin bags over a flame, Bedouins tracking green acacia groves to find desert springs. Every culture found clever, locally suited ways to find water. In the 17th century, a wooden ship creaks in the middle of a vast ocean. Its sails hang limp under a merciless sun, becalmed. Days stretch on, and the precious water in the hold grows stagnant. Finding land could take months, and fresh water was worth its weight in gold. Survival meant eking out water rations and using early filtration methods. Ships carried water in large wooden casks, but it didn't keep well. Water would grow algae and turn foul after weeks at sea. Sailors added alcohol or vinegar to water to make it drinkable. Vinegar helped retard bacterial growth and improve taste. Historical records note sailors received vinegar rations weekly. When water went bad, sailors might distill seawater. Captain Sir Richard Hawkins described an early seawater distiller in 1622. Ships often followed routes with known rain patterns or stops. They'd catch rain showers to replenish supplies. Stopping at islands or coastal springs to refill was mandatory. A man needed about 126 gallons for a 240-day voyage. Frequent resupply was life or death. East India Company ships detoured to find fresh water. On long voyages, desperate crews collected moisture from the air, hanging out awnings at night to gather dew, squeezing condensation from sails at dawn for a few drops of water. A thin lifeline indeed. By the 18th century, scientists experimented with better ways to clean water. The first practical municipal sand filter was installed in Scotland in 1804. Earlier, Sir Francis Bacon tried to desalinate water via sand filtration. Wealthy households had porous ceramic jars or stone filters. In the early 19th century, Henry Dalton developed ceramic filter candles. These became the famous Dalton filters, used even by Queen Victoria. Gravity-fed ceramic filters still provide safe water off-grid today. Another unsung hero of early filtration was the charcoal filter. It was known since ancient times that charcoal could improve taste. Ship doctors in the 1700s advised storing water in charred barrels to preserve it. Charcoal's absorptive properties remove odours and some toxins, a principle used in early gas mask filters as well as water filters. On land, pioneers and explorers of the 18th and 19th centuries carried their own survival tricks. American frontiersmen, for example, would strain water through their kerchief or a piece of cloth to remove leeches and debris, then boil it if fuel was available. Lewis and Clark's journals mention finding brackish water on the plains and having to drink from muddy pools. They often let sediment settle overnight before using the clearer top water. In Africa, 19th century explorers like Livingstone or Stanley used makeshift filters and sometimes chemical treatments. One of Stanley's assistants carried permanganate of potash to disinfect water. It's worth noting the forerunners of modern chemical purification also appeared around this time. The knowledge of chlorine's disinfecting power emerged in the 19th century. By the early 20th century, around World War I, armies were using diluted chlorine bleach to sterilize water for troops, a practice that would later trickle down to civilian camping and prepping. So, in the age of exploration and onward, we see a transition from purely natural methods to scientific approaches. Humanity was learning not just to find water, but to chemically and physically transform it for safety. This era set the stage for the modern toolkit a prepper might have: filters, chemicals, and a healthy dose of careful rationing when supplies run low. Picture an old sailor carefully doling out a cup of water to each crew member with a stern warning. That discipline and forethought, treating water as precious, is absolutely part of the prepper mindset today. Fast forward to the mid-20th century. The world stands under the shadow of the Cold War. Families built fallout shelters, stocking them with canned food, flashlights and water. Lots of water. This was the dawn of the modern prepper movement, born from the fear of nuclear holocaust. Governments urged citizens to store at least 14 gallons of water per person. People filled barrels or jerry cans and added bleach to keep water potable. Bleach became the go-to chemical for emergency water treatment. Regular household bleach can kill bacteria and viruses in water. Guidelines suggest 8 drops of bleach per gallon of clear water. 16 drops if the water is cloudy. Many families kept an eyedropper taped to their bleach bottle. Official advice still echoes this. If you can't boil, bleach it. The smell of chlorine in your drinking water, not pleasant but reassuring. Preppers let treated water sit for at least 30 minutes. This method is a staple in every survival handbook now. In the same era, the military and outdoors enthusiasts popularized iodine tablets. Tiny and easy to carry, iodine pills could be dropped into canteens to disinfect water. During the Vietnam War, US soldiers routinely used iodine tablets in their canteens when on patrol. Iodine has a distinct taste, some say medicine-like or metallic, but it's effective against most pathogens if given about 30 minutes to dissolve and do its job. Campers and hikers through the late 20th century often carried brown glass bottles of Polar Pure, crystallized iodine or potable aqua tablets in their kits. Preppers still include them as a backup purification method. lightweight, long shelf life, and no fire or electricity needed. One must remember, though, pregnant women or those with thyroid issues shouldn't use iodine long-term, and it doesn't kill certain protozoa well, like Cryptosporidium. But as part of a multi-layered strategy, it can be a lifesaver. The late 20th century saw a revolution in portable filters. Compact pump filters with ceramic or fiber cores became popular among hikers. Then came the life straw, a simple yet groundbreaking device. It allows you to drink directly from natural sources. Preppers love it for its ease of use in emergencies. Modern materials made these filters ultralight and effective. Gravity filter systems like Sawyer filters are also popular. Rainwater harvesting has seen a renaissance in recent decades. Modern preppers rig elaborate systems on their homesteads. Gutter funnels channel rain from rooftops into barrels. First flush diverters clear out debris. Tanks are sealed to prevent mosquito breeding. A house can be its own water source, even off-grid. Many US states now encourage rainwater catchment for drought resilience. This is a reversal from earlier laws that banned it. Rain is relatively pure. You just have to worry about what it touches. Filtering and a touch of bleach keep it safe. Prepping guides recommend storing water and having means to collect rain. Know where local springs or lakes are and have tools to purify water. Top 5 genius ways to harvest water. 1. Fog nets. Trap the clouds, drink the air. 2. Food waste hydrogels, garbage in, clean water out. 3. Solar sorption, sun-powered water from thin air. 4. Transpiration bags, leave it to nature. 5. Atmospheric water generators, high-tech hydration, off-grid style. There you go, 5 genius ways to harvest water, from survival tricks to futuristic tech you've probably never heard of. But what if the only water around you is salt water? In the next video, I'm showing you exactly how to make seawater safe to drink, even without expensive gear. You do not want to miss it. Thanks for watching, legends. If you learned something new about staying hydrated when the taps run dry, hit that like button and share this with your tribe. Water is life. And in a grid-down world, knowing how to find it, store it, and purify it could be the difference between survival and disaster. Subscribe for more no-nonsense survival knowledge and join the Prepper's Edge movement, because when the system fails, you won't. Stay sharp, stay ready, and I'll see you in the next one.